Chapter 1184 just dropped. You know what that means. Gotta get into it, review it, break it down. Let's see what Oda's cooking up. Now, I was on vacation for chapter 1183, so we will go over it a little bit because if I didn't, it wouldn't be right. 1184 is literally picking up right where 1183 left off, so a little brief recap. Got a little bit more Loki Emu action. No clear winner, though, just trading some more named attacks. We see more of the Rain God Zaza and the giant parents, regardless of their injuries, still trying to get up, keep fighting to get the kids back. But most importantly, Brook. The second half of the chapter is entirely dedicated to the Brook and Gunko, Princess Shuri, whatever you want to call it, that flashback where we get to see what Brook was up to before he became a pirate. And he was from a country of instrument makers called Asperia. He was the captain of the guard corps of that country at 20 years old. We see him with a 7-year-old Princess Shuri, who clearly had a very high admiration from him ever since they were little. We kind of saw that back when this was teased with the silhouette and him holding the hand of a little girl. This is, I'm assuming, like the same shot. Him with Gunko / Shuri. We see the king of this kingdom, Llewellyn. I'm going to call him Llewellyn because that's just keeps it simple. Stick to one until we get the official anime translation. We see this country get attacked, but Brook cuts them all down pretty much a whole day in advance. It's crazy speed feat. He apparently ran into this group at the beginning of the day, and then they came to attack later, and he claims that when he met them the first time, he cut them, and they didn't realize until they got to the kingdom. We see a whole shot of just like 8 guys just cut down at once without him even being there. He's just, oh yeah, I already beat those guys. So, is Brook been holding back this whole time? The last big player in this flashback that we're introduced to is actually the woman that Brook is in love with, the king's wife, Queen Candel. I'm sticking with Candel until further notice. But yeah, those are the 3 main really people introduced, and then obviously Princess Shuri as well. So really there's 4: Brook, the king, the queen, and Shuri. We'll just stow those away because they come back in 1184. We're going to learn a bit more. Alright, on to what we're here for though. Chapter 1184, titled Only Bones Get Left Behind. The cover request is Brook getting electrocuted by jellyfish at the beach. It's a really cool drawing. Anytime somebody's getting electrocuted, it looks pretty cool, but Brook's afro, like, spiked out, he looks like some metal shit. Fucking love it. Page 1, we pick up in a little time skip. Shuri's now 14 years old, got the drip on, got the sword, looks like she's been getting the reps in, and she's still looking for the approval of Brook, has a little crush on him, clearly. She's like, oh, Brook, do you like strong women? Like, I've gotten cuter, haven't I? And he's just, oh, yep, you have, but, like, not in a weird way, like, more in a dad way. Like, he's very parental over her already. We see them singing a song together about how only bones get left behind when you're dead. Very fitting for the skeleton man. And Shuri then goes on to ask him why does Brook admire her dad so much? Like, and obviously her mom, who he's pretty much in love with. But Brook basically says that her dad was his savior, like his benefactor when he was younger, like saved his life. He would not be here if it wasn't for him. On the next page, we go even further back into Brook's life where he's 11 years old, looking pretty rough, not living the best life, dirty, just beat up, and he's smiling, looking through the window of a school of very privileged kids with their fresh, clean, fancy clothes, and they got brand new violins, pianos, they're just playing. They're actually getting taught by teachers, and he's just envious looking at them. Like, it sounds so good. Like, a school with real instruments, that must be nice. And, of course, while he's in the middle of, enjoying himself, a teacher, staff, whatever, sees him peeking through the windows and, get out of here, scram. We cut over to a junkyard, which appears to be where Brook is living. Fucking man's got it rough. But he's still happy and joyful, even after getting kicked out and yelled at. He's still singing along, playing his... It ends up being a glass bottle with wires that are strapped to it, and that's his violin. And apparently it still sounds gas, but he's singing basically, fuck the monarchy, the king is bad, like, fuck the king, the typical shit, early signs of him wanting to be a pirate. Brook then gets approached by a very young King Reuven, so Prince Reuven at that point, and he's like, not bad, kid. Like, for what you're playing on, like I said, that glass bottle with the wires on it apparently has a very nice ring to it. Like, obviously it's not the same as a standard violin, but Brook makes it work. That's just how goated of a musician he is. Brook treats Reuven to a meal of grasshoppers and frogs. Hey, it's not bad for a kid who's living in a junkyard, honestly. But Reuven kind of has flashes looking at this slop compared to what he served in the kingdom. The top cuisine, top of the line, prepared by the best chefs in the kingdom. Obviously, the food tastes terrible, but it's the thought that counts, and Reuven, respects that. So, over the next couple weeks, maybe months, however long, we see them hanging out together, fishing, drinking, eating some more, playing music together. They get really tight in this next period of time. We don't really get a timeline on it, but you can tell they're bonding. Brook calls him Big Bro. They're tight now. The good turns to bad, however, when Brook is caught up by some Marines in the middle of transporting some curry powder. God forbid he wants some flavor on his grasshoppers and frogs. Let's get on this kid's ass. But they're beating the shit out of him, and it basically get to the point where they're like, he's not fessing up. He's already seen our faces. Like, we're gonna kill this kid. Some good Marine shit. Protecting and serving. And luckily, right as they're about to fucking pull the trigger on him, Reuven busts through the door, comes to Brook's rescue. This is when it's revealed to Brook Reuven's true, past or lineage, and finds out that he's a prince. So kind of lied to him, said that he was also poor like Brook to kind of relate to him, but didn't have the heart to tell him once he actually got close with him that like he was a prince. He was afraid that Brook would despise him for it, but they end up, leaving on good terms. They get Brook out of there. Candel also shows up, to save him, so we get early flashes of her and Reuven's relationship. We end the chapter with Brook in the hospital, and Reuven basically declares that Brook is going to live there. We're going to find him a place to stay. We're going to feed him. He's my favorite musician. Like, he's going to play for everybody. Everybody's going to love this kid. And from now on, this place is going to be much more fun. And we can see Brook tearing up. Like, he clearly hasn't had anybody care for him like this. This is just the beginning. Like, it's going to be a sad day to see when this dude eventually dies. We can see why Brook was so mad at Gunko/Shuri for showing her face after that. So, and I'm hyped to see where this flashback continues to go. I also know people are complaining that this flashback was placed here, like, oh, we already had a flashback earlier and a flashback in a flashback. Like, we knew that the Brook and Shuri flashback was going to be coming once we saw the silhouette way back when Gunko got taken over by Emu hella chapters ago. So this is the perfect time Oda can get it out here. We get a little bit more on Brook. We get his motive for why he doesn't want to see Shuri or wants to kill Shuri, whatever it happens to be. And then we continue with the fighting. I know everybody just wants to see the action, but let this cook. This is going to be a really good and educational backstory. Get some more on the boy Brook. We are back on break next week, however, so again, won't be seeing me for another 2 weeks. These breaks are kind of getting ridiculous, but at the same time, not complaining. Like, I want Oda to get as much rest as possible. Just keep on producing these gas-ass chapters. Keep on delivering. But, yeah, until the next one, see you guys next time. Peace.